Hello and welcome to the Neurodivergence and Mental Health podcast. My name is Sally Nilsson and I'm a psychotherapist, published author, public speaker and mum. I discovered my autism and ADHD aged 56 in March 2021, and having rewritten my life story, I'm on a quest to advocate for neurodivergent community. I hope you enjoy listening to my incredible guests sharing their experiences of autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, Tourette's and OCD. We talk about growing up, education, work and personal stories, and how mental health has played its part in shaping lives. Our conversations cover spectrums, traits, challenges, acceptance and successes. So sit back, relax and find out what it means to feel, think and be different in a neurotypical world. So hi Mabz, it's really good to meet you. We've spoken a little bit before, and the way I got to find out about you is because I listened to a fantastic audio play by Samantha Grierson, which we'll come on to. I'm not even going to say the name of it at the moment. And also I'd had a look at some of your amazing photographs. So we've got lots to talk about today. And I wonder if we could just start the podcast, if we may. Please introduce yourself in any way you like, but I would love to know where you get the name Mabz as well. So it's over to you.
Hello, my name is Mabz. I'm 27 years old. I live in South Yorkshire. The name Mabz actually comes from my initials. So it's Matthew Alexander Beet, and then just a Z added on the end.
So Mabz Beet.
Yeah.
And it's just so great. I mean, it's a great stage name. It's a great nickname. I love it. So I had to ask you about that. So thank you very much for starting us off with your name. And if I may, I'd like to ask you, what is your neurodivergence?
I am autistic.
So you're autistic. And how long ago did you discover you're autistic?
About 9-10 years ago.
So 9-10 years ago. And did you say you're 20 now?
27.
Oh, 27. Honestly, you look so young. Our listeners can't see you, but you have lovely skin. And so you're 27. So you found out about 8 or 9 years ago. And, you know, I normally like to sort of, you know, ask my guests, how was it for you, you know, growing up, you know, sort of starting at primary and middle and secondary school and college? You know, how was it for you with your learning abilities or any struggles with education generally? You know, tell me how it was for you, Mabz.
It was quite a struggle going through education, mostly being because of undiagnosed autism. So I didn't receive any kind of support or assistance with my studying. So things like exams and tests were quite difficult because I can be quite easily distracted. I find it hard to focus my mind on things like that, and also just sometimes like sensory things as well, you know, like the environment that you're in can be quite challenging. And it was a bit of an awkward time because I was undiagnosed autistic, so like I would be like stimming in school and people didn't understand what it was, so they would kind of find it funny, sort of laugh at it, but also because I didn't understand it as well. I didn't know why I was doing these things.
Yeah, and that's really interesting actually. So when my children were going to school, and it's actually a very good friend of mine, her son she knew he had special needs, but he wasn't diagnosed autistic. But he would flap a lot, and he'd be at the edge of the playground, and he wasn't joining in with people. He preferred to be on his own. But I haven't actually come across anybody who's said to me that they weren't aware of their own. They didn't know what it meant. So were you sort of flapping and not knowing what you were doing and drawing attention to yourself and the stims that you were doing and not liking it? Was that sort of thing happening?
Yeah, exactly. Because I flapped a lot. I used to flap a lot as a kid, and I didn't know why, and nobody knew why. So people would sometimes say to me, "Just stop flapping."
Yeah.
But most of the time, like, just not even aware that I'm doing it. So I can't stop it.
That must have been quite anxiety making. Did that sort of frustrate you and upset you? If people were saying stop flapping and you're thinking, well, I don't know why I'm doing it.
It did. It was very. It made me very anxious. It made me want to kind of just withdraw from people and just want to be on my own.
I can understand that. And, did it get to the point of any bullying? I mean, did you have either teachers or other kids at the school, picking on you and teasing you? Because, teachers, even now, they can be just as bad as kids, can't they?
I don't think it ever really got that bad. I mean, some people would kind of like make fun of it, but I don't think it ever really, nothing like extreme,
Not good.
and but with teachers, I think a lot of teachers would sometimes like, because I would sometimes need things repeating back to me, like I need a lot of clarification, I need reassurance. So it's like when doing work at school, they tell you, right, this is what we're going to be doing, and then you just go off and do it. So I'd be going to a teacher and saying, oh, can you just repeat this for me? Can you just kind of explain this part to me again? And they would just straight away accuse me of not listening, not paying attention. But like, no, I am paying attention. I'm just asking you just to clarify one more time so that I know I'm doing it correctly.
Yes, yeah. And it's, I mean, I remember that myself. I think I had auditory processing disorder, and it was definitely a case of not hating being put on the spot, or definitely if there were multiple instructions for homework and things like that was really difficult. So so you went through school, and how far did you get with school? Did you go to college? Did you go on to college?
Oh, right. Yeah, I did go to college. Yeah.
And what did you study when you were at college?
Creative media, film and TV.
Oh, and that, if I'd been younger, I would have loved to have studied that. And did you really enjoy that? What were the sort of favourite parts of that whole course that you really enjoyed?
I enjoyed the process of making films, especially the editing. I found I really enjoyed editing visual and audio footage.
Yes. And I mean, for me, it's all in the old days, it was all reel to reel and all the buttons and everything else. I mean, I would have loved that. In fact, I've just seen an incredible film with Toby Jones, and he's an editor of horror films. Have you seen that? It's kind of a horror thing. It's Italian.
What's it called?
Oh yeah, you see, I don't know, name blindness, but it's really, really good. Look it up. It's really excellent. So I've seen your incredible photos on Instagram, and they're from fashion shoots. They're a mixture of the clothes you're wearing and some really, really amazing body painting. And can you tell me a little bit about that, because you're a model, and I'd love to know about this part of your life. Tell me a little bit about
that. I started doing that about 4 years ago now. And it was just something that I just felt like I wanted to explore, and it just seemed like kind of a creative thing to do in my in my spare time, really, and I just really got into it.
And it's incredible, people, you've got a big following. You've got a big following on Instagram, and you have actually, if I'm right in saying, you've recently actually done a fashion show. So tell me about the fashion show and some of the outfits you were wearing.
Yeah, I recently did a fashion show in Liverpool where I just modeled for different designers. So modeling things like there was one designer who does leather jackets with prints on the back, and there was kind of like evening gowns and vintage fashion ensembles.
And there was was that fashion show the one where I saw you in the most beautiful, beautiful, shimmering lilac pink dress, and it sort of came quite far down the dress, and then
Yeah,
you've got the most amazing headpiece, and it's not just that; it's your presence. You have such a wonderful way that you stand and that you hold yourself, and the expression on your face, and the makeup is absolutely lovely. I can really see that you enjoy it.
yeah, thanks. No, I do. I really do enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, I do recommend. I mean, we're going to put your links on at the end of the podcast, and please, please, please have a look at Mab's photos, because they are just wonderful. And so, during your life, Mabz, what would you say may have been your kind of biggest challenges that have, affected your mental health and have impacted you? Do you think?
Um, I suppose the one of the biggest challenges that I've had that's really had an impact was um, I, I was in a relationship
Yeah.
that came to an end about a year ago.
And how long was the relationship for?
Just over a year.
And was that one of the sort of more serious relationships you'd had?
Yeah, but also the only one.
So that was heartbreak par excellence, I imagine.
Yeah, because it when we were in our relationship, it was during the COVID lockdowns,
Oh, right.
and I'd chosen to be with her.
Yeah.
But then I guess things just became a bit strained between us.
And how are you now? I mean, I just want to make sure that you're okay. Are you over it? I mean, sometimes you don't even get over your first love, do you? How are you now?
I'm okay. Still kind of processing it, but overall, I'm I'm all right with it.
And I mean, I'm a psychotherapist, as you know, and I'm not going to therapize you now on this podcast. Absolutely not. But I suppose, sometimes it can just be so difficult and so heart-wrenching. And, sometimes we definitely need a duvet day. We need to just get under the covers and shut the world away. Other times, maybe we can get out in nature, or just go and go mad, really, go out and just go a bit crazy. How do you manage to just keep yourself together?
Um, I think I just try and surround myself with good people and just try to enjoy my life as much as possible. So like, because one of the things I love about the modeling, for example, is that I've just met so many really great people, just that you can just get along with, and you can just kind of have a chat and have a laugh. And same in the acting and filmmaking stuff. You just meet all these really good people. So it's just surrounding yourself with good people, and I've got a supportive family as well.
Oh, well, that's really good. And it's very refreshing and really good to hear that you're having that type of experience within that industry because, you know, I'm sure we've all heard of some of the stories from, you know, modeling and acting, and it can be a little bit cutthroat and quite bitchy sometimes. But I'm so happy to hear that you're having a good time.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I have met some people who are like that.
Oh, yeah.
I've had some encounters with people like that, but I'd say for me, the good outweigh the bad.
Well, I'm really, really pleased to hear about that.
Yeah,
And
and
yeah, I was just going to ask you. I'm going because you're talking about the play, and I want to come on to that. But is it okay if I just want to ask you? You know, you were assessed and diagnosed 8-9 years ago, and what was that like? Because I always ask my guests like that, and I thought it was really pretty tough actually, and I find it very stressful going up to assessment. During it, I was misdiagnosed. Then I had to do it again. It cost lots of money. And then what happens when you've been diagnosed? It's that post-diagnosis. So what was your journey like? Was it straightforward for you, or did you find it difficult?
I found it kind of freeing in a way because I suppose like for the first time I just kind of felt like I just understood myself more, and I now knew why I am the way I am and why I was doing all these things like we talked earlier about the as a kid, you know, with the flapping and the stimming, like not
Yeah.
knowing why. So now having an answer for things like that.
And it's just it's you know I find it very emotional, and it doesn't take much to set me off crying. But you know, sitting in front of somebody who I trusted, because the first time I did it was horrible, but the second time it's the validation, it's being heard, isn't it? And
Yeah,
actually at the end of it somebody's saying you are autistic, and it's quite a weight off your shoulders, and you used a really good word. It's freeing, isn't it?
yeah.
What did you do when they actually said and they gave you your diagnosis? What was the sort of first thing that you actually did practically?
I started looking for more support within college. Like
Good.
straight away, just thought, right, I'm autistic. I can now sort of tell people and then see what kind of supports I can get in place.
And did you get support? That's you know that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
Did it get better when you had your piece of paper and you could actually go and say, what support can I have, because I am struggling?
yeah,
Good. You know, that is so important, and this is what we advocate for. We're trying to move that along so that, because there's lots of undiagnosed people who go through academia and have a horrible time, don't they?
yeah.
And you know it's you know we don't want to see that struggle, but it's work in progress. We have to work hard. So at the beginning I was saying that I'd recently listened to an audio play, and it was written and directed by another fabulous guest that we had on the podcast, Samantha Grierson, who I absolutely love her. And she's written and directed a number of audio plays, but this particular one was called How to Drop a Piano, in which you play River Cooper. And please tell me how it came for you to be the lead part in the play, and a little bit about who you were working with and what the play's about, because it's fantastic. How to Drop a Piano.
So it came about when a friend of mine, who another previous guest on your show, Paul Isaacs, who was a wonderful speaker and advocate, he'd sent me a link to Samantha's website with all her podcasts on, and I started listening to a couple of them.
Yeah,
The one with Miriam Margolyes,
she's brilliant.
which brilliant, yeah. So I just reached out to her and got in touch and said, I'm autistic, I'm an actor, I've listened to some of your work, I think it's really good. Then she messaged me back and we started talking, and then we had a Zoom chat later on, and then she was just like, I want to work with you, I want to cast you in a play. So she wrote this play about a struggling actor called River who goes to stay at a B&B in Stratford-upon-Avon, the home of Shakespeare.
Yes, yeah.
And they're there to rehearse lines for just a really badly written play.
Yeah.
And they just end up meeting some of the other people there and finding sort of more inspiration, I guess.
And there were such fantastic characters. Who were the other actors and the characters?
So we had Jane Asher playing Margaret, the B&B owner, and no, this is the horrible part where I now start struggling to remember names.
Leslie, that she was on Birds of a Feather.
Yes.
With the dark hair, yes, I can't remember her name. I know it's Leslie, and she was really good. But I loved Margaret. She loved you to bits, didn't she?
Yeah.
She absolutely folded you in her arms. And I listened to the play around Halloween. What was the sort of connection to the spooky part in the play? What happened in the play that was a bit spooky?
Oh yeah, we had a séance.
You've got to have a séance. It's so good. And what I loved, because she was a hoarder, wasn't she? And they were, they were trying to get her to get rid of her stuff. And then it leads on to the sort of, the final scene. And it's great. So again, we'll put the link on for How to Drop a Piano. But your part and your character was really good. And everybody wants to love you and hope that your career goes forth and that you perhaps get into Shakespeare. But it's a fantastic play. So, I definitely put the link on for that. And, when we had a little bit of a chat before, I was really interested about this because I'm on LinkedIn quite a lot, and I'm always, shouting out about LinkedIn. It works very much for me as a 56-year-old late diagnosed autistic person. And I'm often seeing the National Autistic Society. And I think Jane Asher, is she the patron of the National?
Yeah, she's the president.
The president.
National Autistic Society.
Yeah, and that's absolutely fantastic. And I think, if I'm right in saying that it was through the National Autistic Society that you've actually got the job that you've been in for a while now. Is that right? Was it through the National Autistic Society that you got this job?
Yes, I work for the National Autistic Society at one of their residential homes, caring for young autistic adults.
And are you in Barnsley?
Yes.
Yeah, so I love that, Barnsley. I just love that. I'm going all Miranda now. Here we go, Barnsley. I love it. So you're in Barnsley and you're working with young autistic adults. And are they different support needs? Do you have autistic adults who perhaps might have learning difficulties? Tell me a little bit about your job, and also the fact that you're autistic as well, working with them, and how that helps.
Yeah, so all of our residents, a lot of them have kind of learning difficulties and can present challenging behaviours. So they do require a lot of support in their daily life. But overall, they're lovely. I love working with our residents.
Do you have a bit of a laugh a lot as well?
Oh, we do. Yes. They could
tell me. You've got to give me a little anecdote now. Tell me a funny little vignette.
I'm
putting you on the spot now. Sorry, man.
Well, to be honest, I'm just trying to think of like maybe what can I say and what can't I say.
Oh yes, of course, yes. But oh yeah. No, I'm gonna whiz past that bit then. But
but they can be very funny at times. They have quite the personalities.
of course they do. And I mean, the thing is that I
Yeah,
hope. Yeah.
I'll tell you one that just popped into my head. I think
Oh yes, please
this is
do.
okay to say. We took a resident on an outing, me and another staff member, just for like a local walk through a trail nearby, the Transpennine Trail.
Oh
You
yeah,
know that?
yeah.
Yeah, through Transpennine Trail nearby, and he sort of ran ahead a bit. He got a bit too far ahead, so we called him back. We were like, "Come back here," and he just turned around and went, "Come back here," like very mockingly, and it's so funny.
Oh, I love it because
Yeah,
a lot of people have got echolalia as well, haven't they? And they love
they have, yeah.
echo what other people say and mimic what other people say.
Mm.
Did you do that when you were younger? I was absolute expert at that. I was always impersonating, improvising, mimicking, talking gobbledygook when I was.
Yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, I did do that a lot as a kid.
Did you have any particular phrase that you used to say? Do you remember?
No, nothing that really stood out. No.
There's a program back in the 70s called Are You Being Served? And so for me, it was constantly, are you free? Sorry, it's so embarrassing, but anyway, I love all that. And I think, I don't know how many neurotypical people will listen to the podcast, and I hope they do. But I think, for a lot of neurotypical people, they just imagine autistic people to be, really struggling and really, having very, very high support needs, rocking and flapping and not being able to talk and shouting and misbehaving and everything like that. And actually, it's that thing, once you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person. You go
Exactly. Yeah.
amongst autistic people and just discover that, I'm writing a book called The Alien Within because I have felt like an alien, but we're not aliens. We're just we're the same as everybody else. It's just that we have some quirky things that we do. But if you get to know us, we're quite fun, really, aren't we, Mabz?
Yeah.
We absolutely are.
Yeah.
So,
Because like a lot of the residents that I work with, they are like that. They do have high support needs, and they can be quite challenging in their behavior. But they're also into things like, they like to go for walks, and they enjoy music. They love sitting and listening to music, and one of my residents, she loves watching the Shrek movies. Who doesn't like watching Shrek?
I
You know?
absolutely love watching Shrek, and certainly my son's bedroom smell like the swamp. So I love Shrek, but have to say I'm binge watching Grey's Anatomy at the moment. But anyway, they've got enough series on that one. Blimey. So when you're not working really, really hard, taking part in photo shoots and fashion shows and all the rest of it, what do you do? How do you relax?
I usually relax by I like to play my video games. I enjoy just playing games and watching movies and TV shows.
What's
Just
your favourite film and what's your favourite TV show? I've done it again. I keep putting you on the spot.
I'm not the biggest fan of that question. There's too many.
There's too
Honestly, I
many,
think
which is
too many to think of.
but that's good though. That's good. I mean, you're watching lots of different things, but I only like to watch a horror film at lunchtime to calm me down, or Grey's Anatomy on a loop.
Yeah. Well, no, I do enjoy watching a lot of different things. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I've just for the past few days kind of been scrolling through Netflix just to try and find all kinds of different things to watch.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm not terribly impressed. My husband spends more time scrolling than watching, and then I have to go off and make a cup of tea or something. So, Mabz, I really hope that as as you go forward, that more opportunities are going to be coming up for you. And you were telling me earlier, you've got something coming up that you're a bit excited about. What's that?
It's a casting day for a modelling agency.
And that is exciting. And where's that going to be happening?
In London.
Oh, and you've done some digging around to make sure that that they're pucker and that they're okay, and that is important. We've been burnt actually before, but you've done you know who they are. You've spoken to friends, you've looked at their stuff, and absolutely wish you all the best for that, and for your acting. I love listening to you on How to Drop a Piano. You've got a wonderful voice, and I just love listening to you, actually. But I do like to ask all of my guests as the last question, if it's okay, because we're all there in some way to help somebody else. If we can do one thing that can help somebody else, then I think it's a good thing, really. So the question is, it's a big question, but just answer it in your own way, however you want to answer it. How would you like to see positive change at home, at school, and in the workplace to help all neurodivergent people be included and respected as valuable members of society?
Wow. I think really the answer is just more education, more awareness. We just need to be able to go to places like schools and workplaces and just be able to talk to people there, answer people's questions, because I do think a lot of people want to know about autism. I think a lot of people are really open to wanting to learn more and wanting to learn how they can help, how they can best support students, employees, colleagues, friends, family. Like for the past few months, I've been part of the one of the presenters on the Oliver McGowan campaign.
Oh,
Which is,
what's that?
it was set up by Paula McGowan after her son Oliver very tragically died in hospital from medical negligence due to doctors just not understanding his autism and how it like manifested in him and how to support him.
Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a simplified way of putting it, but
we can look it up. His name is Oliver McGowan.
McGowan, yeah.
Okay, so perhaps if you've got a link for the work that you're doing, we can put that at the end of the podcast so that people can have a look at that.
Yeah, definitely. So that's been, the campaign is to make it mandatory for people working in health and social care to have training in understanding autism and how to support autistic people.
Oh, that's good. That's exactly what we need. That's action, isn't it, Mabz?
Yeah. And the response that I've seen from a lot of the people that we've done, because I've done 7 of them.
Oh, right.
And we've had really great responses from people, and you can see that there are people who that do want to learn. There are people who genuinely want to learn more. They want to be better educated. They want to know how best to support people who are autistic. And my hope with things like this, campaigns like Oliver's campaign, is that we can go further, like from beyond health and social care and into places like the education system, schools, colleges, and in workplaces, just workplaces in general.
Yes, absolutely. And you are right. And I mean, I'd like to do that. You know, I speak about something else, and I enjoy doing that. But this is much more worthwhile. I would like to get in front of schools and to say, this is autism. You know, because people often say to me, "You don't look autistic." You know, they say that to me a lot, and I don't. You know, a lot of the time because I wear a mask. But the thing is I like the idea of being able to stand up in front of parents or schools or businesses and say, this is just as much the face of autism as, you know, what you think autism looks like. And it might even help people who are not diagnosed, who are wondering about themselves, wondering whether maybe they've got ADHD or autism, or they're, you know, or undiagnosed dyslexia or anything, or why are they ticking, or why, you know, why are they so terrible at maths, you know, all these different things. But it is about action and getting up, and it's great that you're right in amongst it, because you're working within a, you know, a social field, and you're helping with this campaign, and it's just absolutely amazing. So, Mabz, thank you so much for coming on the podcast again. I've loved talking to you today. I wish you all the best, and I'll definitely keep following you and looking at your beautiful, beautiful photographs. And good luck with the fashion shoot.
Thank you.
Take care.
You
all
too.
the best. Take care. Bye, Mabz.
Lovely speaking to you.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for listening to the Neurodivergence and Mental Health podcast. Links and resources will be at the end in the show notes. I very much look forward to meeting you again. Thanks for listening. Bye.